Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pete's Epic Golf Podcast. Join golfer Pete as he interviews international and local golf experts and enthusiasts. Golfer Pete's guests are looking to share how his audience can improve their golf game by improving their mindset, skill set, and gear set. We ask our experts to share their practical tips on golf in one or more of these three core areas. Golfer Pete created his podcast as a resource for anyone who loves golf. Join Golfer Pete as he asks the questions we all need answers to in order to improve our golf game.
Okay, I want to welcome our viewers to a very special podcast. So we have two golfers on there. Imagine that. Golfer Pete has two golfers on there. Now, these guys are good golfers. One is really good, and one is, man, he hits the ball just pure, and he can make putts from anywhere on the green. I witnessed the most incredible putt ever, and we'll talk about that maybe later in the podcast. So, Lucas and Rand, I want to welcome you guys to the show, and I will just start with the senior of the two. Could you introduce yourself, Rand, and just tell us who you are and what you do and who you serve out there?
All right. My name is Rand Eberhard. I am a high handicapper and the biggest poser on the course. I have all the best equipment, look the part, and about 3 holes around, I play the part. Now Lucas is nice enough to play with me, so is Pete, and enjoy the game. We play at Pine Tree Country Club. I'm a minister of the gospel, vocational ministry pastor, congregational care pastor at Church of the Apostles in Atlanta, but also just have a restoration type ministry everywhere I go, meaning I try to be present with the people that the Lord puts in front of me as friend and faithful to the calling of ministry and lifestyle, attitude, and whatnot. But I'm also a down-to-earth regular person, so I'm not like this guy that's sizing people up and judging them and trying to be anything more than just the simplicity of God's love and peace. That's who I am.
Awesome. Thank you, Rand, for that. And Lucas, so you're a couple years younger than us, so please introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing and who you serve out there.
Well, thank you, Pete, for having me again on the podcast.
Yeah.
And, at the beginning, I thought that Rand was the really good golfer, but then I heard you said being a master on the greens, and then I felt like that suits better to Rand. I think like I never play with anyone who makes more putts than he does.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
And it's mutual. Somehow when we play together, we both play good. So
That's true.
damn, he probably has to give me some shots here and there. But no, my name is Lucas. I'm from Barcelona, Spain, and came to the US to be a college athlete. Now I just retired. I graduated from my undergrad last year in business and political science, and now I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in communications and media. And I'm enjoying the social part of golf. I'm not a college athlete anymore. I'm not a competitive industry anymore. I'm just purely hitting the ball and socializing and getting to know people. So it is amazing to be here with you, Pete.
Well, I tell you, we really enjoy just getting your perspective. We talked a number of times, and so it is kind of cool when you move from the competitive grind of college athletics and then you move into the social part of golf, because Rand and I will attest there's nothing better. I mean, you spend time with people, you enjoy them, you get to have fun, and occasionally you make a long putt. So I have to, before we start, I'll ask you a couple questions. There was a situation, we were playing in a charity event, and so I wasn't able to play that day, and so we brought in a ringer. But Rand came to this hole. I only was able to see a couple holes, but he pointed at me and he said it was about a 40-footer with about 2 feet of break. I mean, it was not an easy putt. And he said, "This one's for you." And he stood over that putt, and I said, "Sure, yeah, like you're going to make this thing." And he drained it center cut. I mean, unbelievable. I've never seen anybody call a putt that difficult and hit it so pure right in the center of the cup. And that was one that I'll never forget. So, Rand, how do you make such a bold statement and deliver?
Well, you know what? That was an eagle putt.
Yeah.
It made it even more intense. And Pete just brought the vibes like he always does. He brings the rhythm. He's the rhythm man. So he steps up, and we just felt like, all right, we're not going to miss this opportunity. We're on into St. Ives Country Club, that hole that goes really far uphill, and we have Chris Guglielmo in the group. He hits the ball about 330, like Lucas does. So we were able to get on in 2 on that hole. So we were definitely gaining a stroke on the field if I bury that putt. And because of Pete, I said, Pete himself is an incredible putter. Not that I am, but if you guys describe me as that, I receive it. But Pete's an incredible putter. And I said, "Pete, this is a Pete putt, and it's going in the hole for you." And I called it out audibly in front of the whole group, and I step uphill, left to right breaker about 40 feet, parted it, and Pete thought the earth shook, and so did I. And we just celebrated the fact that good things happen at times on the golf course to good folk.
It's one of those things you never forget, because golf is memories, and that was awesome. Burned into my mind. Like, there isn't a putt that can't be made out there after you see putts that are called like that. I think of Justin Leonard at Brookline, making that long putt. It was that kind of exciting. We didn't have hundreds of people around us, but we had enough to enjoy it. Yes. So let's get back to the podcast, because I know people like to hear stories like that, but they also like to hear philosophy. So, Rand, I'm going to go to you first. What's your philosophy like on golf? Like, what do you feel about it?
Well, in terms of like the competitive side of it, or just the experience?
Golf in general, golf in business, I guess.
Well, for me, there's the competitive side of it. There's the social side. There's the intellectual side of golf, which to me is the hardest, because I'm a everyday idiot. I guess you could say I'm the course oaf out there, and we have brought the ancient word oaf, OAF, into focus at Pine Tree, because we got plenty of course oafs out there walking around, and I'm the king of the oafs. So as Lucas can attest, and you, Pete, as really good golfers, me being mediocre, golf IQ is essential once you actually can hit the ball and play golf. Specifically, making the right club selections and decisions on the course is really everything. So in terms of philosophy of golf, a mediocre player can look to be a very good player and beat more skilled ball strikers simply by making the right club selection. So I get beat a lot by guys that can hit the ball half as far as me and not putt as good as me. But it's efficiency around the course, making right decisions. And Lucas has helped with that. Pete's helped with that. And I'm getting better because of it. So that's my general perspective.
Awesome. That's really well said. So, Lucas, what about yourself? I mean, maybe before that, like, why did you get into golf? Like, because you're younger than both Rand and myself, but share that, and then your philosophy of golf.
Yeah, so I got into golf mainly through my family. My parents used to play golf, and as well as my uncle. And when it was my second Christmas, Santa Claus brought me like a set of plastic golf clubs,
Mhm.
and I just started hitting balls on the little yard that we used to have. And that's how I started, and then kept developing. And my philosophy with golf, it's been changing a lot. I grew up playing competitively golf, and I grew up with the mindset of I want to turn professional, and I want to become a great player. And I always been told that I had very great skills to be very successful in the professional industry. But then when you look on the paper, my golfing career, my amateur golfing career, it wasn't successful at all compared to how what my skills are. So then when I finished, or when my career was approaching, but the end of my college career was approaching, I said, okay, like what is the best way for me to enjoy golf? And then I remember that probably one of the greatest players in the world in the history of golf never turned professional, which is Bobby Jones.
Mhm.
He just played golf for the passion of it.
Mhm.
So kind of like approaching it that way of, okay, I have my life besides of golf, like a part of golf. It helped me to enjoy golf way more, because I'm not worrying about paying my mortgage or making a putt to make the cut or anything that all the professionals struggle with every week with.
Yeah, well said, man. That's really good. And why? So, when you were deciding where to play college golf, what drove you to come to the U.S. and play? Were you just wanting to play the most competitive place, or what was your thinking there?
Yeah, so definitely, since I wanted to become professional, it was a very big step ahead. It was a very step forward towards getting ready and see myself playing with other top players in the world.
Mhm.
So that was the best decision that I could do, like go to the US. And everybody in Spain knows it, that if you want to play successfully in the professional industry, you gotta play college golf.
Gotcha.
That doesn't matter that even if I knew before that I wasn't gonna turn pro yet, I didn't make the decision of coming here. Like I would still come, because it was a way of, it was a huge opportunity, like that not many people can have. And then second, it's definitely like a life changing thing. It's
Mhm.
definitely living outside home. It's definitely growing as a person. It's definitely trying to build a different family, like a second family in a different place. So there's a lot of positives that are outside golf as well.
Awesome. All right, let's shift into. I always like to ask my viewers the nicest or the most famous golf course that you've ever played, that our viewers can either drool if it's the Masters, or if it's another one, maybe get on. So, Rand, I'll go to you first. Okay. What's the nicest, best course that you've played?
Well, being a pastor in the city of Atlanta, in the neighborhood of Buckhead, I've got the incredible blessing of playing all these incredible courses all the time. Courses I couldn't even afford to pay the greens fee, in all honesty. So just last week I got to play Capital City Crabapple, posted a little 77 out there, Pete. That felt
Wow.
good.
Dang, that's good.
And then I played Cherokee North Course the day after and shot a 77 there.
Wow.
So just out of nowhere, I think it's Lucas was up on the range helping me get things dialed in and encouraging me. A couple of weeks ago, I lost my match at Pine Tree. I was in the second round of the net match play championship, club championship. And I literally played the worst round of golf I played in 2 years.
Wow.
And I came back out that night, even though I was tired. And Lucas and Dan, our friend, we played an E9. They let me jump in, and I went out and I shot like a couple over par that night. And my ball striking was on point, and I was putting good. And Lucas is like, man, just settle down. You're okay. You know, don't freak out. But the point of that is, like, it could change in the same day, and you can become a different player. And that's what happened. But, you know, outside of Georgia, I really haven't had the opportunity to, well, I will say this, and it's a long-winded answer, but I'll finish in 30 seconds here. One of the families that I've ministered to in Atlanta for a number of years, the Kraft family, Doug and Trish, brought my wife and I to Cabo San Lucas to a place called Chileno Bay. It's owned by George Clooney. And literally there's a team of workers on every single hole in the golf course.
Wow.
Look it up. Look at the pictures of it. It's not just a resort course. It's a championship caliber course with ocean views, mountain views. They wouldn't even let a guy like me drive by the guard gate out there. They'd say, sir, the turnaround's right there. Go ahead and, but I got to go out there and play this course every day for a week. And it was like the greatest golfing experience of my entire life.
Wow.
You know? So that's literally the most prestigious and nice course I've ever been at. I play Peachtree, you know, golf club. That's incredible. I'm out there periodically. And, that's playing Chileno Bay with one of the members and feeling the blessing of being in such beautiful environments. As we know, golf courses are the most beautiful environments. Just the depiction of God's character on earth in pristine, beautiful form, creation. And golf course, it doesn't get any better.
Man, I'm just like running a chill up and down me thinking of that course.
Oh gosh,
it's amazing when the beauty out there, and there's so many beautiful ones, but when you can experience it like you did, I mean, there's nothing better. So
yeah, it was unbelievable.
So Lucas, I know you've got a couple there, or one at least. What would you say would be the finest and the nicest?
I have a few, but damn, those that ran cold, I mean, it's hard to beat, especially in Georgia. But I had the amazing opportunity to play Capital City, like Crab Apple, with Kennesaw, as well as Setting Down, Ansley Country Club at Setting Down. Those two courses in Georgia are probably the two top ones that I played around. And then when it comes outside Georgia, I had the amazing opportunity to play the honors course up in Chattanooga.
Oh yeah.
It's probably the place that I want to go back, just because it was pouring rain when we played, and we were supposed to play a tournament there and got canceled because of the rain. So I only managed to play one round, which was a practice round. But incredible golf course, like top notch. And then one last one that I think is pretty remarkable, it would be Coral Creek down by Naples, Florida. Another college event that we played there. And, you know, when you see a private airport landing into the golf course, you mean that definitely there's something going on in there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and it's just the golf course and just like a private airport across.
Wow.
So, my brother's in Naples. I'll have to ask him about that. Man, that sounds, yeah. If you put an airport near a golf course, it's got to be nice.
I mean, it was amazing. So
there's one up in.
Go
ahead.
No, just those four courses, I feel like they are different level than what we regularly play.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's a course up in North Carolina that has I played, and it's up near Asheville, and they have a private, airport flying in, and it's actually in the mountains, so it's not easy if you're a pilot to fly into this place. You're kind of landing on the top of a donut or something. It's so small, but it's kind of cool to see the planes right next to, it's like it's in the parking lot of the golf course. So yeah, there's something about airports and golf. They go together, and they're pretty nice ones if you have them.
I mean, that's what happened down at the RSM when at St. Simon's on Sea Island, when you're watching the PGA tournament, there's all these private jets flying in during the entire event, and you're out there just it's the same thing. It just looks like you're on a video game.
Yeah, it's cool. So let's talk about equipment. I know this is Rand's favorite topic. Let's give our viewers your favorite piece of equipment that you use out there.
Okay. You know what? Lucas just saw it the other day. So I've had a lot of different equipment in the 5 years I've played, and we can get to that in a second, but I finally landed on the Ping G30 driver. I played the two previous models, and the turbulators on the top that frame the ball just helped me connect middle face. And the sound and feel of this particular driver is unbelievable. And I didn't like the Ping Tour 2.0 black shaft because it was spinning off right on me, even with good swings. So I upgraded to this, the Diamana ZF Justin Thomas shaft. And I've never hit a driver better than this thing. I'm hitting absolute cannons with that, and Lucas can attest. He saw me on the range hitting it yesterday. So that's my favorite thing suddenly, beside my putter. I love my putter. Putters are by far my favorite, and I got a rack of them, but that driver is just a game changer.
Wow, that's awesome. How about Lucas? How about yourself? Is there a favorite gear or piece of equipment you like?
I think I have to go along the line with Rand. My driver, it's always been like my baby. Like, it's the untouchable club. I'm a pretty good driver striker for the most part, but the Titleist TSI-4, which is the one that I currently use, it's not planning on going away anytime soon. I think it's pretty hard to find some driver that works better than that one and sounds better than that one. So
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Now we're going to get into the tips. So, Rand, what's the best tip you can give our viewers when it comes to golf?
Well, I think if your handicap is like 15 or below, I mean, beyond just fine tuning your golf swing and getting something functional, that being step A, I think to move deeper into the sport itself and lowering your handicap and becoming the best you can be, I think it truly is golf IQ, because I probably make 5 incorrect decisions in terms of where to play the ball. You try to get too aggressive around, and then about the same amount of I make between 3 and 5 club selection mistakes around, and I average 84, 85. I've been as low. It doesn't matter about that, but the point is, I would be a far better golfer if I had the right club in my hand and hit the right shot. I would consistently be a better golfer.
Awesome.
So golf IQ, that's my tip.
Yeah, that's the fun of the game, is the strategy and the thinking that you have to do, because you have a lot of time in between shots to think.
Yeah.
And that's critical, that you're making some good thoughts and obviously good selections in the clubs that you're hitting. That's great. Lucas, what would you say? What would be the best tip that you can give our viewers?
Well, everything depends a lot on the handicap and on the level of the person.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, the way it works, or the way that I see it in the people that I help or that I try to help, is that when you are a mid-high handicap, you gotta focus on the basics of the swing and the alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really care about the decisions yet. Just make sure that you are aligned properly and you have the basics of the swing correct. Then there's in the middle handicappers, like 15, 10 to 15 handicap, there's a big part of decision making, and then kind of like around the greens, kind of like chipping for the most part is a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we move into the single handicappers, little high handicappers, there's a big part of putting. You gotta become a way better putting, still make good decisions, and then go back to the fundamentals of your swing, because now your precision matters way more.
Right.
So basically, it's like you go through different steps over your golfing level, and then when you get to a single handicapper, you put them all together.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Now, what about a book? Is there a book out there or something that you could recommend to our viewers that might have inspired you or helped you become a better golfer? And I'll go to Rand first. Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, let me grab it real quick. I got it right here. Hold on.
Okay.
Like I was never a big like golf book reader.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to read a couple books with the golf team and kind of do some like sessions together, and kind of like experience the different thoughts on the book. And probably one that I feel pretty relatable and that I liked, 7 Days in Utopia. That's the one we read this year. It goes about a guy who could not find his game and was getting very frustrated, and goes to this town in the middle of nowhere called Utopia in Texas. And this sensei, or this wisdom guy, starts like teaching him, and kind of like explains the story between that friendship, and kind of like that story of working and golf,
Yeah.
and go back to their level. And that was a pretty fun book to read.
Okay, man, that's good. I wrote that one down. Rand, how about yourself?
This is one that I found at a thrift store, but man, I landed on some key intel from the top guy in history,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tiger Woods, How I Play Golf. And it's a thick book with all kinds of like illustration in there, and the way it's laid out, it's easy to read, and you can land exactly on what area you'd like. And he breaks it down in great detail, every aspect of his game. And this is back when he was working with Butch Harmon, and
Yeah.
it's an incredible book. It's great. He wrote it when he was in his 20s. They
Wow.
already knew by that point, like, this guy's
Yeah.
different. And with the editors of Golf Digest. So, How I Play Golf, Tiger Woods.
Awesome. That's a good one. I'll throw one out for our viewers, because I listened to a podcast about a year ago, and Winning Golf, Dr. Saul Miller. I've listened to the audio about 4 times, and it's the mental side of golf. And he's going to be on our podcast in the future. He's out west in Vancouver, but yeah, it was just all about mindset and all about the between the ears thinking in golf. And I had never really thought about, think of yourself as a predator like what animal do you want to be? And obviously tiger's a tiger. He wears the red on Sunday and all that. It has to do a lot to set yourself up, because if you say, I just want to be a real docile animal, that doesn't give you the attack or the kind of mindset you need to have on the golf course at times. So that's really good. Thank you all for sharing that. Now, is there a person we should recommend or that you could recommend for our podcast that you think our viewers would enjoy hearing from? Is there any one person that you can think of? Rand, I'll go to you first.
Yeah. Well, I've told you about Luke Hopkins, who's the caddy for Ben Martin on PGA Tour.
Okay.
Luke was over here at my house yesterday. He and I have an incredible story of God's work in his life and our friendship. And, he and Ben have made a lot of money out there on tour. Yeah. And he's a first year PGA Tour caddy. Storybook type setting of just how it all unfolded. And anyway, he'd be an awesome one to have. He played golf at Clemson. He was on the Walker Cup, Cannon Cup. This guy's like a unbelievable golfer himself. He shot a 64 with 10 birdies with me at Pine Tree.
Wow.
And that round itself is something to talk about. But anyway, just an incredible story of how it all came to be. And he's out there on PGA Tour with Ben, making cuts left and right, finished 5th at the Honda, 12th at Pebble Beach. He was in 1st in the final pairing at the RSM. Just unbelievable stuff. So,
yeah, I remember when you text me his, I don't know what course he was at, but he was on the driving range and the sun was coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, oh my gosh, what a picture. It was breathtaking.
Yeah.
I put it in my memories. Just seeing that picture, it was incredible. So, all right, Lucas, is there any one person that you could recommend to our viewers?
Well, if we're looking for a professional players, I got the amazing opportunity to grow up playing surrounded by very, very talented players who are now playing in the top leagues like Live Tour, Challenge Tour back home, European Tour. So that is great. Or if you want to go on the side of coaching and mental game and all that, I think my head coach Brian Autumn, I think would be a great addition to the podcast for his wisdom and amazing player, play for UGA, tried to become professional, and then found himself being a golf coach, which I'm sure he loves it. So I think in terms of wisdom, Brian Autumn, I think would be a great addition.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. We'll love to reach out to him and see if he would be, because coaching is such a great profession because, you're obviously coaching young athletes, not only in the golfing arena, but you're coaching them on other things too. And I'm sure that you benefited greatly with his coaching throughout, your KSU career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Coach Odom's a great guy. It's amazing to have his level of prowess and a golf pedigree and be such a down-to-earth guy. I really appreciate who he is and what he brings to the table.
Awesome. Now, the last question, then we're going to close it down. Who's the most famous golfer that you've met personally that if they would say, oh, I know he would call you or she would call you? Not just that you shook hands one time and, hey, Arnold, I met him one time, but somebody that would take your call. Rand, I'm going to start with you first.
Well, that would be a question to ask him whether or not he'd answer the phone if I called him.
Yeah.
but there's a chance he would. All right.
Yeah. Let's say a chance he would. Then.
Yeah. So one of my students from my years of being a youth pastor in the city of Atlanta was married down at Sea Island a year and a half ago. And his brother-in-law now is Harris English.
Oh,
so I got to officiate his wedding down at Wesley Methodist, the historical church down there on St. Simon's, a year and a half ago. So Harris English was at the wedding, and I got to talk with him and have a great conversation, talk about golf. And it was the year after he made the Ryder Cup team.
Wow.
So I mentioned the fact that he got second in the U.S. Open and recognized the various wins he had. But he goes, the most important achievement to me, honestly, was the Ryder Cup team. And, selected instead of Patrick Reed as that final, I think. And that specifically, I think my words and my ministry in front of him during that weekend might have made enough of an impact that he might consider answering if he saw. But there again, he might not even remember me. But anyway, I talked to him at the RSM just for a second, and he's such a great guy. He's just a genuine, down to earth, relatable guy. Yet has
certainly seemed like
prowess.
The way he carries himself and stuff. He does seem that way.
He does, and he's that way.
Observation. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And what a golf swing that guy has. I mean, Harris English swing is on plane and tempo every single time. It's not hurried. If I could get that tempo, Lucas, I think KSU
will be on plane.
KSU would bring me in as a equipment manager if I had his swing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Lucas, how about yourself? Is there anybody that you have met that you can share with our viewers?
Well, in fact, I shared quite a bit of time with him because it's one of my teammates, Evan Thompson.
Oh.
Now, I mean, he's obviously not famous for being a professional golfer or for achieving big tournaments, but he became pretty famous on social media. And I realized that when we went to Puerto Rico for a tournament, and some kid just approached him and was like, "Oh, like I'm your follower. Like I follow you and stuff. I'm your fan." And that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun to see. But if we are talking about professional industry, David Puig, he plays for Leaf Tour. He won already he has 2 wins as a team, and I pretty much grew up playing with him. Like we used to see each other like all the time. I mean, like we grew up together.
Awesome, man. That's good. Now, one little. I mean, I don't know if it's controversial or not. I like to openly talk about anything, but the LIV versus the PGA Tour. I'm going to go to Lucas first. What's your just thoughts on it? I mean, just there's obviously 2 camps in it, and usually you're not in both camps. So just share with us what your thoughts are just from the outside looking in.
What I would say is that golf is such a broad sport, and the same way that each person is trying to build their own swing, they try to build their own approach to the game. And some people might fit better into the LIV golf vibe, and some people might fit better into the PGA Tour vibe. So I don't dislike any of them. Particularly, I would say I'm more. I would support more LIV Tour just because it's a new generational thing. It's something fresh, but it just depends on the approach that you want to have to the game. And there's nothing wrong with any of them, and that's about it. I mean, I don't see the hate between.
Man, that's well said. I like that. Rand, how about your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, there's the political side of the money thing and the geopolitical tension and where but Saudi money's everywhere. It's on all American sports, and it's even the PGA Tour has benefited from that kind of funding. It's a known thing, whether you like it or not. And but on the competitive side of world golf, and the tours out there, Live Golf has been said, is an exhibition tournament. There's no cut. It's a shotgun start. And the fact that there's no cut, the rest of the tours out here in the world that have a staggering effect of climbing the ladder of deeper and deeper into competitive fields and money and status. I think that Live Golf has a unique idea and is fun to watch. I don't personally watch it because I don't know how to watch it. It's like, what is that app? How do I get to it? I don't even know. But I do like watching it because when I watch it on YouTube a little bit here and there. But I watch every single stroke on the PGA Tour every week. I've recorded it for years. I watch every single shot. And to me, seeing no names come out of nowhere and suddenly be household names because they win, that is the uniqueness of how the tour system works worldwide. And you could climb to the top. And then Live, you got to be handpicked and you get all this money. And I would love to watch those guys on Live Tour play every week, but we don't get to. So it's not that I dislike it. I just think that it is an exhibition, and the fact that they don't have global world tour points, I think is justified.
Yeah, there's I watch it on my iPad and my phone, and it is exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I found there's more shots being played. It's just that, and I first thought, the shotgun start, I went, I don't know if I believe that, but everybody plays under the same conditions, and they have the hole is very visible. You know what hole there's playing on. The commentary is perfect. And the team aspect, I've never seen the team really gel except on like President's Cup or Ryder Cup, but it's there every week and they're cheering on their teammates. And it is an interesting approach to golf. And I think it's the new part of it, but I don't think it ever will. No, it won't ever replace the PGA. It's just, it adds to it. And I had a person share with me that 18 million people play off-course golf, like Top Golf, and 16 million, which is less, play on-course golf. So more people have adapted to the Top Golf concept and play that versus on-course. So, yeah, we're seeing a change out there. Our attention spans is pretty, is a lot shorter than it was years ago. And the young people seem to not want to put 5 hours in a golf round, but 2 hours in Top Golf, drinking a beer or, eating a burger or whatever and hanging out with friends seems to be appealing. So, well, I know you guys got to get to work, and we decided to have this early before you got to work. So thank you so much for taking the time to share your golf insights. And I really enjoyed having you both on the show. So parting thoughts, Rand, you first, and then Lucas will finish it up.
Well, now that my wife walked in the room and is listening, I hate to jump off the cliff with this topic. But the parting thought is this: select your equipment, stick with it, and don't be like me, the fanatical, unsettled, over-analytical, club obsessive, borderline needing intervention equipment junkie. Don't be that guy, right, Jenny?
That's perfect timing for this.
Great way to just say it all in one thought.
Really, your weakness of good golf equipment. That's awesome. Thank you there. Now, Lucas, you're going to finish this up, and then I know you got to get to work.
Well, big pressure to finish the podcast, but no, thank you, Ran and Pete. I mean, definitely this is fun, and I feel like that comes with the beauty of golf. I think it's golf. It's hard enough to be frustrated about it. Just enjoy the game, hit the ball, and make some smart decisions. I think like if you there's a lot of relationship between golf and life. And if you learn how to make good decisions on the course, it's probably you're going to make good decisions in life.
Yeah.
I think there's a big connection in there. And damn, just hit the ball and put a smile on your face. I mean, you could be doing worse things than play golf, you know?
Well said, man. That's like wisdom. And you're not as old as Rand and myself, so that's great. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being the guest on the Pete's Golf Epic, and I'm Golfer Pete. and have a wonderful day. And thank you so much. Keep it in the fairway if you can. All right. See you guys.
Good job with what you're doing, Pete. Thanks for having us. Love you, man.
It was absolutely a pleasure. All right. Love you too. All right, man. Have a good one.